At the request of Republican Senator Tom Cotton, I know we're going to be able to watch this, a report was drawn up calling into question whether the U.S. Navy is ready for war. It follows a series of recent naval catastrophes. Joining us now is one of the men who wrote that report, retired Rear Admiral of the Navy and Senior Director of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, Mark Montgomery. Rear Admiral, good morning.
Good morning, Mercedes, and thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, this is just a fascinating report. Let's get right to it. Why do you say the Navy is not ready for war?
Look, these were long-form interviews with a large number of officers and sailors, men and women that crew our ships right now. And while we understood that there was an underinvestment in training in the surface warfare officer community, we understood that we had poorly resourced our surface ship maintenance. What we didn't know was the degree to which the young men and women crewing the ships absolutely understood that this was leading up to a lack of focus in warfighting. The ships no longer had a number one priority and a focus, the laser beam kind of focus you need to have on fighting the Chinese Navy at sea.
Well, it's interesting because I know you're talking about this lack of investment and resources in some of these training programs, but the United States, and we know under President Trump, really invested heavily in our military. We spent over $700 billion on military funding. Where is this disconnect?
I think the disconnect is in the distribution of money within the Department of Defense and then later within the Department of the Navy, getting to the right investments. And look, part of this is Navy decision making. Part of this is poor investments on occasion. And this really took 25 years. This is something that started in the mid-1990s and really has reached its point now, and there's a lot of complicating factors in this, but I would say a part of the problem exists with Navy leadership, part of the problem exists with Department of Defense leadership, and then some sits with Congress and how we appropriate the funds.
And you've interviewed about 77 people. There was broad consensus about some of these problems that we're seeing. Among them was this oversensitivity and responsiveness to modern media culture. Real quick, how does woke culture impact your soldiers?
So, well, these interviews were done before the most recent issues on critical race theory and other things. What we're really talking about here was this absolute, commitment that Navy administratively has to training on a large variety of issues. If you compare this to our NATO allies or our Asian allies, they don't have their officers and sailors spending hundreds of hours a year in classroom environments, making sure that they know how to act around each other. They assume a certain level of maturity and training in their forces, and they certainly don't do it while they're on operational deployments. The real kicker in this is the idea that while we're in the middle of operational deployments, ships are doing training on all kinds of administrata and these kind of issues instead of focused on warfighting, and that is bad decision making at the senior level.
Well, thank you, sir, for your service, and thank you for joining us. Rear Admiral Mark Montgomery. Rob?
Mercedes, thank you. Fascinating interview. We're going to continue that right now. For more on that Wall Street Journal report, I want to bring in former Trump Deputy National Security Advisor KT McFarland. KT, good morning. It is so nice to see you again.
It's great to be with you. Thank you.
KT, this report was really eye-opening, and I think it should scare people if it is actually credible. So before I ask you what you think about this report and if you agree, I want to know if you do think this report is actually credible. The title of the report, If War Comes, Will the U.S. Navy Be Prepared? Because so often we get reports like this and you look at the source and the source really is not credible.
Yeah. Now, the reason this one is so devastating is because of the credibility. Normally, reports like this are, think tanks study them and They make a report. Or it goes up the chain of command. In other words, somebody at the bottom might be interviewed, but he's got to clear his talking points with the guy on top. So by the time the interview happens, it's all mush, right? There's no pointedness to it, and any controversy has been eliminated. This report is different, and for that I credit Admiral Montgomery and his colleagues. They went to the 77 sailors, officers and enlisted, active duty and recent retirees, and they gave them complete anonymity. They gave them complete protection from the chain of command. In other words, they didn't have to report to their bosses what they were going to say. They didn't even have to report to their bosses that they were having this interview. So as a result, this is one of the most frank, open, candid discussions that anybody's had with the American military and about the American military for a long time.
Okay, that's sort of what I thought you would say. That leads me to the next point here. The conflicts that we've had in this country, really dating all the way back to Reagan, have all been on land. Meantime, the Navy budget, the president just cut the Navy budget yet again. What if something does happen in the South China Sea or in the Arctic Ocean? Are we ready? Are we prepared?
No, this report says we're not. And I'm from a Navy family and, have family members that are still serving. So I don't want to say that I'm getting this from them, but I'm understanding throughout the naval community what's happened is that, number one, the Navy budgets were cut back and our research and development, all they were cut back for 30 years, 20 years while we're fighting land wars in the Middle East.
Right.
As a result of that, we're not prepared for the next war. The next war is going to be in Asia, if there is one, and it is going to be using our assets at sea. It means battleships. That means the ability to hold our own in the South China Sea, the world's most important maritime trade route. It means holding our own in the Asia-Pacific region, which is of increasing importance. And what this report says is two things that really struck in my mind. Normally, when a sailor goes to sea, before he or she goes, they have hours of training, they have lectures, they do simulations. Not anymore. Now they just get plopped on the ship in a role they've never had,
right,
and they're handed a bunch of CDs and say, okay, study these, they'll tell you everything you need to know. No, it won't. It doesn't substitute for training.
Yeah, but
The second thing that's really critical is that because of the micromanagement on the part of the senior naval leadership, they're looking over their shoulder at every decision. I mean, in real time on a camera in the Pentagon, looking over their shoulder at every decision a captain is making. And they're giving their orders from, the comfort of the Pentagon, not the deck of the ship. If we have a war, the first thing that gets knocked out is those communications. So all of a sudden you're telling captains of ship and officers and senior enlisted, you make decisions on your own. Now, we haven't let you do that before, but now you're going to have to do it in a wartime situation. That really is ill-serving.
Well, that's scary, KT, just because these captains and these people who are running the show there, they've lost their dogfighting skills, and instead they're implementing diversity training and woke training. And you know who's reading this report are intelligence agents in Russia, in China, in the Middle East as well. How concerning is that?
Look, they know our weaknesses. They also know our strengths. Historically, the great strength of the American military, Navy, Army, Marines, Air Force, has been the senior enlisted, has been the people who have had decades of experience and who know how to think on their own. They have really honed their warfighting skills. Those are the people who are not being allowed to do what they need to do. And the emphasis on wokeism, the emphasis on wokeism and political correctness and all that other stuff, that's important in a certain way, but not at the expense of their singular mission, right? Which is to defeat adversaries at sea. Right. And that's what's really critical. Something fell out of the bottom with all the wokeness training, and what it was the single most important thing, which is warfighting skills.
Yeah, and defending America. KT, I just wanted to mention, by the way, the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, they just opened up an embassy, I believe in Tel Aviv, not in Jerusalem, where the U.S. Embassy has been since 2018. Right. But this all has to do with the Abraham Accords, Trump-era peace policy. Pretty amazing that just took place, though. We only have about 10 seconds left, but your response.
Look, the Abraham Accords have changed the dynamic in the Middle East forever. It's peace between Arabs and Israelis. And as long as that sustains, the entire region will be changed. Eventually, other countries will come along as well. An
amazing success story there. KT McFarland, a pleasure seeing you. Great having you on again. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Rob.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.